Mark, you good?
I'm great.
Okay.
All right. Obviously, thought the team played well on Saturday. I thought we played closer to a more complete game. Still need to be a little bit more consistent on special teams, and that third quarter was a really good quarter. So we got a big challenge ahead of us. Obviously, going to Blacksburg. We know what type of environment we're going into, so it's going to be a big challenge, and we've got to practice well. I thought last week we practiced well all week, and that's what led to us playing well. So, questions?
How different was Sunday's practice after a win with some room?
Not much. Not much. I thought the guys practiced with the same type of energy, the same type of intensity that they did the previous Sunday. So, there was probably the meeting might have been a few more smiles and whatnot than the week before. But the actual practice itself, I thought was very similar, and the effort given in the weight room was very similar. So, I think in terms of that, this team does a good job of that. The work is, the work, and we know we got to get out there and be intense about it. And I think in general, we've had some good Sunday practices where we're getting intense work on there, even though we're not in pads. So,
Obviously, Tech's in a tough spot right now, 0-2. They don't want to go 0-3. Is a desperate team a dangerous team?
I think it's more about their talent and which they are very talented and things like that. No team wants to go 0-3. No team wants to go 1-2. No team wants to go 2-1. Right? You just don't want to lose. It doesn't matter what your record is going into that. So I don't necessarily know if there's any more desperation to it. I think it's just you want to protect your home field, and they're a very talented group, and so we know we're going to have our work cut out for us. They on the defensive side of the ball, they've got a talented front seven. They've got some transfers that have come in there and done some good things. Their linebackers are very athletic and can run and hit. And then secondary, they're playing quite a few guys back there, keeping those guys fresh. And then on the offensive side of the ball, that quarterback is about as physically talented as you're going to find. A guy who can run and throw the ball with that sort of power and at that size is impressive. Their running back, I think we're going to see their first full complement of their running back room. I don't think they've really seen that before, and so I think we're going to get the full complement. Obviously, it's guys that we've played before who were very, very good players. Tight ends have been very steady for them, and then their wideouts, they made against South Carolina in particular. They made some of the most impressive catches I've ever seen. They were really impressive catches. They didn't get credit for all of them because a couple of them happened on penalties, but they did some amazing things. So they've got some talent across, and then their specialists are incredibly talented. Their field goal kicker can kick like 60-yard field goals, and they bang it through the end zone most of the times on kickoffs, and their punt returner is dangerous. So we're going up against a talented team, no doubt.
Gotta ask, how is Jason holding up his decision?
Yeah, obviously it's a tough decision for everybody involved. I think it was a mature decision. There becomes a point where we all know that the game of football is going to end for us, and it's very rarely ends on your terms. Let's just be honest with it. So I think that it's an emotional time for him, and he's going to continue to need the support of the coaching staff and of his teammates. But I think that he knew that it was going to be something that was going to be hard for him, and he didn't want to be a distraction or anything like that with the constant questions of is he playing, is he not, and those sort of things. And And so I think that, he made the decision, and while it's emotional, I know that he thought deeply about it, and so it wasn't something that was, it was well thought out. It was certainly a rational decision, and I think that was the important part in his development as a person, and so I thought that, that was done well. And everyone read his statement, so I'll let his statement speak for itself. For a long time, all of us are identified as football players, right? And that's kind of our identity, and so that having that no longer necessarily be part of your identity is the growth that we all have to make at some point. And so I know he's going to handle that well and get through it.
Was the injury worse than we were led on to believe?
No, it's not. It wasn't that it was worse. It's just, everybody's body responds differently to things, and everybody responds differently to the rehab. Everybody responds to everything, and so as that goes, the one thing about all injuries is we act like, okay, if you heal this part of your body that you're just going to be healed. Well, the healing of that body, it can affect other parts of you. And when you, at some point, Jason just got to a point where it became too difficult to keep doing the things that it was necessary to play this game. And listen, this is a tough game played by tough people, and we got a lot of guys who are trying to. no one's healthy, right? And so for him to say, okay, I can't play anymore, you would have to imagine, the amount of physical pain that he was probably in to get to that decision.
How cruel can injuries be, man?
Yeah, they're brutal. You guys probably don't remember this. When I got here, there was a guy by the name of Journey Brown who played at Penn State, and he had a health issue. The guy ran for like 850 yards in his last 3 games at Penn State, and then all of a sudden in the offseason was told that he could never play again. That's tough, man. You know what I mean? That's a tough thing. I tell people all the time that the greatest benefit of me playing in the Ivy League in my life was that there's no playoffs, and I never thought I was good enough to play in the NFL. So that when my football career was done, when we got done playing that last game against Penn, I knew I was done. So I knew I was lucky enough to kind of know when the finality of that was, and I still think it's the greatest gift that I've ever been given. Because not knowing when it's over is and then all of a sudden having to deal with it being over is incredibly an incredibly emotional time in most people's lives.
When did he first come to you about this being a possibility? Is this something he's been thinking about for a while?
I'll keep a lot of our conversations to me and him, just out of respect for him. But as I said, this was not an irrational decision where, he had thought about it for a while, and he made an educated and rational decision, which I think is important.
So it wasn't out of left field to you or anything like that?
No, it wasn't. It was, again, we've had numerous conversations about a lot of different things. Again, I'll keep those between us, but hours upon hours upon hours together. And so, I'm very proud of him, of the process that he went through to get to this.
Do you get the sense, just from your perspective, and you can't read his mind, but do you feel from your sense that he's at peace with this decision?
That's tough. I think he's at peace with this decision because he knows he made it for the right reasons. Obviously, he's a person who loves to play the game of football, so it's hard to use the term at peace is probably maybe a bit over the top. But he knows he got to it the right way, so I think he feels better about it.
Is he still going to hang around with the team? Is he welcome to be a part of just be around the guys?
Yeah, he is. It's probably going to be tough for a while. Think about that, you know what I mean? To know that I'm not playing and to see those guys do that. I mean, I watch guys who are out for a week, and I watch them cry before a game when they're out for a week, right? So to know that you're not going to play again, that's an emotional time for any of us. So I think that sometimes that's where fans don't quite get it. I mean, I think that's the part that they miss. So like I said, numerous guys on the team who've just been out a week and happen to be around and don't get to play, and they have tears in their eyes for not being able to go out there and play. I mean, that's the type of impact and the type of love that most players have for the game, and the type of impact that the game has on them and on their souls. So I think that is what makes this game so great.
Getting back to this week's opponent, Virginia Tech, in-state school, Power 4, you got the recent contract renegotiations, so not as many opportunities against them in the future. Does that add anything extra to this game, or?
No. I mean, because I'm more worried about 2025 and not 2032. To even say the words 2032 sounds bizarre. No, but having the opportunity to play an in-state school like this is something that I do not take lightly. Not everybody in our league gets this. Arkansas State just got that opportunity, right, for the first time. We have other schools, who will never get that opportunity in our league, and so for us to get that opportunity is something I don't take lightly. We also, listen. Lane Stadium is one of the, hallowed grounds in college football, right? And that's not me saying. They're on the commercial for the EA Sports video game, for crying out loud. The entrance is on the commercial. So guess what? That's probably saying something, right? So that's awesome for our kids. That's unbelievable to be able to go in there and play and compete at that type of level, and go in there to win the game at that type of levels is something that you're gonna remember always. So it adds a little bit of something, sure.
What are the challenges of that environment? You've been there a couple times.
It's loud, it's passionate. But again, I think that it's one of those things that it helps. The thing people don't think about is it's hard for their defense to communicate too, right? And so with some of the alignments that we give, some of the nuances that we present to coaches, and maybe they haven't seen it all the time, they've got to make some communication changes on their own. And when it is that loud, you have to do that. I know our defensive coaches at other places I've been, that has been a thing, right? It's oh man, we can't necessarily run this or that because I don't know if our guys can hear that, if they can make the communications necessary in order to do it in these type of environments. So yeah, there's a little bit on both sides.
Do you bring in the speakers and do the noise?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is one of those that if I can't hear in 20 years, and this is going to be one of the weeks of the reason I can is not because of the game, which I know will be intense, but the practice and nothing's better than the crowd noise one, because it's just like white noise. That's especially grating on everybody.
Any other questions for Coach?
How are you balancing with your players? How are you balancing telling them that maybe this is a beatable Virginia Tech team right now versus it's still Virginia Tech?
We go into every game with the attitude that if we play up to our expectation and up to our potential, that we can win the game. I wouldn't bring these players here if I didn't think that they could help Old Dominion beat Virginia Tech. So I don't think it's necessarily a balancing act, and I don't think it has anything to do with this year. It has to do with the way our program's going to be run each and every game.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Appreciate you guys think you'll do anything to honor Jason?
Stephon Dubose-Bourne.
like blocking there Saturday night?
It felt good to be back home. It felt good to be back in the 757. It was pretty good. Coach Hutt prepared us well, developing that mentality, and our preparation was really good this week.
I mean, how do you explain those two big that from Traquan, the game he had?
Traquan's a special player. Everybody on the O-line did their job. Traquan did his job as well, but we did a lot of preparation this week to get us those big runs.
Good opportunity for you guys this coming Saturday. You know, that atmosphere, that program, just the lure there. Do you guys relish this, I would assume?
Excitement. Coach Hutt is going to prepare us mentally to embrace this challenge with a good D-line, and we're a good offensive line, so we're going to take it to them, and we're going to prepare hard this week.
How helpful is it that you hit Indiana in the mountain to start out? How does that help you in a game like going to Virginia Tech and Blacksburg?
That we can go toe-to-toe with anybody, defensive line-wise, especially in the conference that we're in. It's D-line driven, so there's a lot of challenge every single week, and we're going to keep preparing well.
Going back to those two Traquan runs, I don't know if you saw the post-game press conference, but Ricky made a statement that he could have ran those, made those two plays because the offensive line blocked so well in those two plays. How does that make you feel?
I hope Coach Rahne can run through them, but for those runs, we put a lot of effort in. It was a lot of nastiness and grit that we developed throughout the week that Coach had prepared us pretty well. So, yeah.
Have you played at Lane Stadium before?
Yes. That was my first start at guard, the new offensive staff got here.
So what are the challenges of playing in a crazy place like that?
Embracing the environment, the loudness, but also being focused. A lot of being focused and reading everything well, examining defense, it's falling back on your preparation.
And how do you block out the crowd?
Hey, you just got to focus on the man in front of you, make sure you do your job, and beat him when he try to beat you.
How does it feel that this is the last time you guys go around? Does that give you juice and incentive?
Yeah. I am 1-2 with Virginia Tech, so at least got to go out with a bang, make it 2-2.
What was that like, having your first college start? To me, that sounds like, when you do the worst roller coaster in the park first, so none of them are as bad.
Yeah.
Like, was it kind of like that?
It was insane because that first series, it was a false start. I couldn't hear anything. All I heard was the crowd noise, and our former quarterback Grant Wilson was just clapping. I couldn't hear anything. So it's gonna be really fun.
So was the penalty on you?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Did you at least hear him play? Okay.
I barely heard him clap, but I can see out my peripheral that the ball didn't move, so I was like, I'm not moving. So, yeah.
Tough game you play. It can be cruel sometimes. When you look at the other side of the ball and you see what happened to Jason and the decision that he had to make with his career, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Jason is a brother. We are probably the 5 or 6 guys that stayed at ODU all 5 years here, came in together. I love him to death, and I respect his decision, and we're going to stay by him, keep uplifting him, and guys are playing for him.
Anything else for Steph?
How much of a challenge is it to go from an FCS program 1 week to a legendary program like Tech? What does that say about the temperament of this team?
I would say we're not going to take anybody lightly. We're going to treat every team the same. We're going to prepare the same, and we need to keep that same mentality that, when we do all our jobs, nobody can mess with us. So it's not that much of a drop-off. We got to keep preparing and keep working.
Anything else? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
1-0.
1-0.
Culbreath's going to start us off.
Clark, you want to start us off with questions for Julie?
I do. All right, Jahleel. I'm sorry, you guys ready?
All right, ready.
Yep.
Jahleel, it's every game's the same. I know all that, but when you go to a place like Lane Stadium and that atmosphere, facing an ACC team, and it's loud and everything, you relish that opportunity to go in there and try to quiet that crowd?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the goals. This is a great opportunity for us to go in there and compete with a very good team. They played 2 SEC teams, but Virginia Tech still has a good team, so we're going to go in there, we're going to focus on our keys, and our big emphasis for this week is aligning and assigning, and don't worry about the crowd that we've been in front of plenty of times.
Is it one of those things to where a 54-6 win, going into this week, is that a little bit of a kind of a propelling you into this one? Yeah, that shows that when we do our job and we play with violence, that we can do a lot of great things. So we got to go 1-0 this week, not worry about last week, and focus on Virginia Tech.
You almost get a sense this is last time? You gonna play?
Yeah.
Stop scheduling. Do you feel incentive to go, okay, let's leave on our terms?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a goal. We got to go out with a bang. Yep.
Well, your reaction just when they told you about Jason and him deciding to hang it up. I mean, probably a balancing act of tough to hear, but also, he's going out his way.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt because I love Jason. Jason's a brother. I've been playing with Jason for about 3-4 years now. And I know he loves the game, so we're always there for him. We're going to be there for him, so he'll be all right.
It's kind of the mood around just the program and the locker room since hearing the news.
It's not bad. We're all uplifting him. He's still around because he's still our brother. We're going to uplift him, make sure that he's all right, and he's going to keep supporting us, and we'll do the same for him.
In practice, you get to go against a mobile quarterback, whether it's Colton or Quinn, you're playing Kyron Jones, another mobile quarterback. How does that help having those mobile quarterbacks in practice?
It helps very well. It helps with our contain, helps with our blitz pattern, it helps with staying in coverage. So I feel like that's going to be a very, very key aspect to winning this game.
Yeah, what are some of the challenges that Hokies offense presents?
They have a new offensive coordinator. So, we have limited film on them, but Kyron Jones is a good player. He likes to run. He likes to scramble. They have a good running back core, a couple of transfers, one from Marshall, one from Bowling Green. So it'll be good to compete against some good players.
People might say on the surface that an Old Dominion has no business competing with or let alone beating a program like Tech. You've experienced that here. How much does that build the team's confidence, knowing that you've done it?
Right. We take that into consideration, more or less. We take it as people don't believe in us when we've done it before. So we're going to go in there with that fire and that motivation to show people that we can do it again and over and over and over again.
You got to compete against Terry and Stewart from Bowling Green, like you mentioned last year. How does that prepare, playing him again this year?
Yeah, he's a good running back. He's short, he's stocky, he runs hard, he has good vision. So we just got to work on our tackling, and I'm sure we'll handle.
Dealing with Indiana the way you guys did, jumping out to the lead, does that boost this team going into a game like Tech? Yeah. Indiana
has opened our eyes. It shows us that we can compete with anybody, and it shows us that if we all do our 1/11th to do our job, then we can compete with anybody in the nation.
What's Lane Stadium like?
It's loud. I'll give them that. It's loud and it's electric. It's a privilege playing there, and it's great playing there. I've seen it all on TV when I was a kid, so I can't wait for Saturday.
I was just about to ask you about being a Virginia guy.
Yeah.
Does it give you a little extra juice?
Yeah, of course. I've been to Lane Stadium a couple times when I was a kid. They recruited me in high school, so I can't wait.
You turn them down?
Good question.
Bad answer.
No answer. Anything else for Jahleel?
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Jahleel.
Appreciate it.